What do you see as hot trends? And
It's it's amazing. We're kind of it's almost cycled back to where it was when I first got in. We had foreclosures that were really just ramping up when I got into the business in '83. So '84 through '86, we had foreclosures, and here they are coming again. It's a little bit different in terms of what caused it then and what causes it now.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, the fact that we have back then, we didn't have the internet and we didn't have all of those things that we have available now. And back then they talk about foreclosures and the deals that you could get. And the main difference that I'm seeing now is that people are, because they've heard those stories or they were around back then, they're thinking that just because a house has the word foreclosure attached to it, that automatically means deal, but that's not the way it is right now. It's we talked about earlier in the show where Kevin talked about how busy this market is. The demand is still there. Even though the supply is up, the demand is still there, and as long as that demand's there, the deals are kind of few and far between.
well, one of my roles on the show is to try and stump the guest and throw in questions that aren't on the prepared list. So in keeping with that, no, I wanted to ask you about investment because it's something we talk about on the show every week, and how the You Build It business has changed in the last 2 years, and with a heavy emphasis now on investment projects. And just wanted to get your take on what you're seeing in that arena.
Yeah, there's a lot of investment property out there, and a lot of investors out there right now, which is one of the main differences from the '80s. From the '80s, it wasn't until outside money started coming in before things started picking back up. Here, there's money here now, and we're not so having to depend on one business like the oil and gas business back in the '80s. It's so diversified now that there's money from other areas that can come in and pick property up, and so they're out there.
In the mid-1980s, I was reading that 80% of the city was dependent on energy, either directly or indirectly. That's just no economy needs to be built on that kind of dependence on any one thing. And so, to me, it's it is a very different animal. I think for several reasons. I think the foreclosures, for example, that exist today is because of the financing,
yes,
not because of the not because of the
economy,
the demand
itself,
and that type of
absolutely,
thing.
right.
The saying is that you don't have a bubble bust in high unemployment or low unemployment environments. Rather, we've got 4.4% unemployment. It's unbelievable. You've been a great guest. Can you give us your number there for people to get more information?
The RE/MAX Northwest Territories office is 281-370-9100. My extension is 102, but any of the agents there are